Like the second time ever that we've had an event in Tulsa, so I'm super, super excited. So 14 years I've been with this business. I started as a hobbyist. Guys, I'm a kindergarten teacher by heart. So I think if I can manage kindergartners, I can manage a room full of hungry adults. I'm hoping. But this business has truly changed my life. I like to say it has given me a life by my design now. When I want time off, I don't have to write stub plans. I don't have to ask my principal for time off. I don't have to do any of that stuff. So Scentsy has awarded me the opportunity to quit that job a long, long time ago. I have raised 3 kids. I have had a successful marriage for 25 years now. And, thank you. And guys, I'm gonna be grandma. So first grandbaby coming in July, and we don't know if it's a girl or a boy yet. So I'm gonna take a little poll. Who in here thinks I need a little boy grandbaby? You guys are my people, because that means the rest of you want me to have a girl, right? I need some more hair bows in my life. Okay, I'm gonna try and calm down now because that grandbaby's got me really, really excited. Guys, I did not know what corporate would be speaking about right before I got up here. I didn't know that they would touch on time management. I didn't know that they would touch on managing priorities. So thank you ladies so much for giving me a little intro, because that is exactly what we are going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about. Specifically, time management, setting business goals, business planning and preparation, and managing your priorities. Now, I used that word business a couple times. How many of you in here feel like you have a business, a legit business? That's what I thought. How many of you are in here because you love Scentsy and it's a fun little hobby? Okay, I figured there would be a lot more hands for that. And that is the case for most consultants. But here's where I think a lot of us miss out. If you treat this like a hobby, it's going to pay you maybe like a hobby. But if you treat this like a business, a legit business, even if you're just squeezing it into the nooks and crannies of your life, if you have that business mindset, this can pay you like a business. Like I said, I was able to quit my teaching career thanks to this business. How many of you guys would love to walk away from where you're punching a time clock right now? Yeah, a lot of you. So switch your mindset to treating this like a business. Keep that in mind as we spend the next little bit of time talking. So I know you guys are getting a little antsy. You've been sitting down for a really long time. So we're gonna do some stand up, sit down. I used to be a Catholic school teacher. Have you ever been into a Catholic service? Yeah. So I'm not gonna make you kneel today. You're welcome. But we're gonna start by doing some stand up, sit down. So I want you to stand up if you have a job outside of Scentsy. And if you are a mama, you have a job. That's like the biggest job. Okay, so most of the room. Awesome. Sit down. Now it's time for the next prayer. Who in here is married? Stand up. Stay standing if you enjoy date nights with your spouse. Oh, some people sit down. I won't tell who you were. Okay, have a seat. But stand right back up if you have little kids at home. Quite a bit of you, okay. Stay standing if those kids are in sports, dance, anywhere that you have to taxi them. He drives down like, ooh, that's a sweet spot. Yes. Okay, thanks. You can have a seat for a second. One more. I want to know if you are busy. If you are busy, stand up. Yeah. That's what I thought. All right, guys, you can have a seat. We have a lot on our plates. A lot. You guys were standing up and sitting down a lot. So the next 25 minutes now, I've already wasted 5 minutes. 25 minutes, we're gonna talk about how to manage those priorities and get all of those things done. So I'm curious, have you, and you don't have to stand up for this one, you can just answer it in your head. Have you ever felt like you worked so hard all day, and at the end of the day, your spouse came home, and Paul often says this to me, "Hey honey, what'd you get done today?" And I go, "Man, I was busy today. What, I got a load of laundry done." I know I was busy all day, I did all the things. But if I can't really pinpoint what I did, it was a day wasted. We need to know what we've done or what we need to be doing to get all the things done. So that is managing your priorities. You can't manage your priorities if you don't know what they are. And I would guess that a lot of you have all these to-do lists spinning in your head, but you haven't managed those priorities and put them down on paper and really ordered them. What is the biggest priority? What can wait until tomorrow? I heard someone up here on stage earlier talk about balance, work-life balance, something like that. I just want to tell you right now, it's a complete myth. It does not exist. There is no balance in life. It's a juggle. Life is a juggle, but we need to figure out whatever we're juggling. If it's apples, I like to use the analogy of balls, but then it gets really weird when we start saying it. So we're gonna talk about apples. So let's say maybe we have rubber apples or glass apples. So the rubber apples can be dropped and they can bounce, but we have to keep the glass apples in the air. That's your priorities. That's where priorities come in. Okay, so we're going to determine what we want. This is going to help us set our priorities. Determine what you want. On that page in your notebook, I don't know what page it is. What page are we on? 14. On page 14. I want you to determine what you want this year. Let's focus on one thing. You might want a lot of things, but focus on one thing. Maybe it's PRV. Maybe it's more team members. Maybe it's to grow leaders. Take a second and write that down. Really specific. If you wrote down PRV, I want you to write down a number. I don't care, this is your notes. Are you talking monthly? Are you talking yearly? Are you talking weekly? Just give it a number. If you want new team members, how many new team members do you want? If you're looking to grow leaders, how many? Get specific, friends. Okay, you have that specific goal. Now, I want you to write down actions that are going to get you that goal. If you wrote down more PRV, what do you need to do specifically to get that PRV? I would love to hear some of your ideas. If your goal was to get PRV, shout out one of your ideas.
Book more parties.
Book more parties. Okay, but that's not an action that you can do.
Meet new people.
Meet new people. How are you going to meet new people?
At events.
Book events. Be at events.
Reach out to your customers.
Follow up. Social marketing. Here's the thing I want you to make sure you're concentrating on. That you are writing down income producing activities. And it's hard to figure out what's income producing and what's not, but then again, it's not. If you are face to face with a person, or screen to screen with a person, or phone to phone with a person, that is income producing. Making samples will make you zero money. Handing out the sample will make you zero money. What makes the money is the follow-up connection after the sample is given out. Booking parties isn't gonna make you money. Getting a lot of people in front of you, that's where the money is. So as you're writing down your specific actions to get to your goal, make sure that it includes face-to-face, voice-to-voice, text-to-text, message-to-message, because that is where your money is at. Now, I'm curious how many people, just by raising your hand, earned either any level of the incentive that just wrapped up. Raise your hand if you earned the incentive. Great job. We have a lot of people in here. That's awesome. I will tell you that they didn't earn that incentive by having X amount of PRV points. Might be a little confusing because that's really how we're judged, isn't it? How many points did you get? But that's not how they earned the incentive. They earned the incentive by having communication with people. We earned points by selling items. We earned points by recruiting and helping that person achieve the next level in the business. That takes face-to-face communication. So those are the things that really, really matter. Now, it's all great to know what we need to do, but if you don't have a plan to make it happen, you won't make it happen. That's why I love this quote right here. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. So you need to work hard to get a plan to make your goal happen. Now here's the thing. Planning looks different for everybody. I've already heard that today. This business is different for everyone. You are the CEO of your business, so you get to make the different decisions for your business. Some people really like digital things. They work by Google Calendar, or they work by Trello. I've just heard about a new one to me. It might not be new, but something new called Artful Agenda. Curious, but you can ask my husband. Honey, how well do I do with digital planning? He just went. He lives his life by Google Calendar, and he's like, hey Jamie, if you would do Google Calendar, it would make our life so much easier. And I tried it for like a week, and no my jam. Guys, I was a kindergarten teacher. Give me a cute planner. I need the washi tape, I need the markers, I need to check mark it off. And touching the little dot to check mark it doesn't do it for me. I need to check mark it off. So I am a paper planner girl. I brought a couple, because I'm a paper planner addict. I brought a couple to show you. Now, the Scentsy planner, it's getting there, friends. It's come a long way. It's getting there, but this is my favorite company, and I brought 3 different sizes so you can see what size you might want. This is the Happy Planner 365. And I have had an ebb and flow in my business, but currently I like the big boy. I like the big boy because I can print off my own pages and put them in there. So we're gonna talk about how a planner works for me and how a planner might work for you. Now I'm gonna tell you to do a lot of things, and I only have 15 minutes left with you guys. I tell you that because I know you can hold off that grumbly tummy for 15 more minutes. So I'm gonna tell you to do a lot of things. You're not gonna have time today to do all these things. This really takes some quiet time. It takes some mental power. So what I want you to do is just jot down a few notes as to what I'm gonna tell you to do, so then when you have 30 minutes of quiet time, you can sit down and really do this. So the first thing that you will want to do is to write down all the things that you do. That's a little overwhelming, isn't it? All the things that you do. So I'm gonna help you out. I want you to start by listing out your must-do things. If you have a job outside of Scentsy, what are your hours for that? If you go to church, when does that happen? If the kids have practice or games or cheer matches or regattas, as I used to have to deal with. Used to have to go to. I said that wrong. Sorry, Kinsey. Date night. Get it on your calendar. The next thing you would put down is all your chores. What chores do you do? Laundry, paying bills, filling up your car with fuel, all the things that you have to do. Now, We're at a Scentsy event, guys. I want you to talk to yourself. Write down all your business tasks that you have to do. Guys, this list is big, isn't it? I'm not talking about the things you do every day. I'm talking about all the things, even if you do it once a month, once a week, whatever you do. Things like thank you notes, scheduling out your social media posts. I schedule mine out. I don't do them on the whim. Making deliveries, texting your customers, all the things. You're going to write it all down. So guys, you might have like a full, huge sheet of things to do. You might have 2 or 3, really. Okay, so then what I want you to do, if you're like me and you like pretty colors, you're gonna pick 3 different colors of highlighter. You might circle, you might star, you might underline, whatever you wanna do. But you're gonna divide these things into daily, weekly, or monthly. Is this task done daily, weekly, or monthly? So you're gonna determine those things on your to-do list. Here's the best one. Here's the best piece of advice that someone taught me. Pick the 3 things on that list that you hate doing and circle them big. These are the things that you procrastinate and you put off because you don't want to do them. Now your challenge is to find a way to get out of them. Is it something that you can hire someone to do? And you say, I don't have the budget for that. Well, maybe you would if the time you spent procrastinating or grumbling to yourself while you're doing the task is some time that could be spent connecting with customers. Guys, my biggest flex in my business is not that I got to quit my job. My biggest flex in my business is that I hired a housekeeper. I was a terrible housekeeper, and I would procrastinate about it. I would put it off. My husband is a clean freak. He likes things clean. I could care less. But for the sake of our marriage, I hired a housekeeper. And he will tell you it's the best money that I spend every single month is to pay that housekeeper. So that was one of those reds on my to-do list. I hated cleaning, so I hired a housekeeper. I hated making deliveries. Absolutely hated making deliveries. Guys, I don't make deliveries. Don't do it. I do not do it. My customers have the choice of discounted shipping if they contact me, or they pick it up on my porch for free shipping. The only way they're gonna get free shipping is if they pick it up on my porch. I stopped making deliveries. It took away one of the things that I hated doing. So look for those things in your schedule. Are there other people that could do that? Or can you hire it to be done? Or is there just another way to make it happen? Then, here's the big one. It's time to make your plan. Now, I'm gonna show you my plan, but remember, everyone works their business differently. Some of you digital people, my pretty plan ain't gonna work for you. But you can see it and use it as a guide for what works for you. So, I have my big, honking, huge planner, and I don't even use the planner pages that came in it. I ripped them all out, and I bought my own hole punch to fit in there. And this is week 1 of my planner. So the things at the very top are things that I only do 1 week a month. My daily tasks, the Monday through Friday, that is gonna be the exact same every single week. And guys, there's some of this that is not gonna make sense to you because I use abbreviations and I just talk to myself in weird little ways. So, this is what works for me. Week 1, week 2. Oh yeah, did we go with? Okay, yeah, there's 3. And week 4. Guys, you don't have to take pictures of it because it's not gonna work for you. Look, I'm gonna move it, ha ha. You don't get to take pictures because it's not gonna work for you because it's mine. And your life isn't my life. It is. If you got week 1, you got an idea, you're good. Chill out, people. You're fine. Because here's the thing. Guys, I sent those slides in 2 months ago. My planner doesn't look like that anymore. Because that was 2 months ago. Every single week, I reevaluate. Did last week work for me? Oh, I need to move this task to this day. Or I can eliminate this task completely. It didn't serve me, so I wasted time doing it. I evaluate this every single week. I redo it. Now, I have the base. I have an idea, but I can change it every single week. Here's what you really need to do, guys. You have got to eliminate your time wasters. You guys are busy people. I saw you standing up for all the things. You're busy. You've got to eliminate the things that are sucking time out of your schedule. What is it for you? Are you a binge watcher? Do you feel like you're in church now? You're like, Pastor got me. Are you a binge watcher on Netflix? Oh, I heard some loud yeses. I mean, I will tell you, friends, I have my favorite shows, but I'm very intentional with my time that I can jump into those shows. Oftentimes, people will ask me and Paul, oh, are you watching this? And we're like, no, we don't watch TV. No, we don't watch TV. We're both business owners. We're busy people. We don't watch a lot of TV. Are you a scroller? Do you get lost in the scroll? The rabbit hole of scrolling, yeah. Set a timer for when you can scroll. Guys, my husband got like serious about this. He took Facebook off of his phone. Now, he's still on Facebook, but he has to sit at his computer and be intentional about it.
What's it like that?
If you're asking that, you're spending too much time on Facebook. I'm not one. I have even gotten to the point where I'm very intentional about my texting and my chatting. Where's Jacqueline at? Oh, you're right in front of me. Hi, baby. So we were in a group chat, and it was on a text thread, right? And I said, is there any reason that this is on a text thread and not in a Facebook chat? And everyone was like, well, I don't really, we just did it that way. And I was like, can we move this to a Facebook chat? And they were like, what? Sure, weirdo. Like, why do you want to do that? What does it matter? It's chatting. If my text goes off on my phone, I just feel like I have to address that. I have to address that. That's an immediate need. But for some reason in my brain, a Facebook Messenger chat can sit, and I can ignore it. So yeah, we're doing business in this group chat, but there's a lot of socializing happening there too. And so when it was a text on my phone, I was feeling pulled to chit chat more than my schedule had time to allow. So now that we've moved it to a Facebook chat, I'm a lot more intentional about the time I spend on that chat. Now, Jacqueline's probably like, yeah, she ghosts us for 6 hours sometimes. Yeah, I do. Because I've made that choice that I'm not going to frivolously spend my time social chatting. I'm gonna wait until I have time to focus on that. So maybe you felt that little gut punch in some of those things. Those are things that you really need to reevaluate. Here's another thing I want to touch on. You need to choose your hard. You're telling me, Jami, getting Facebook off my phone, that's hard. Building a business is hard, but it's worth it. There are a lot of things that are hard, but life is hard, friends. Clocking in at school every single day and giving most of myself to the kids in my classroom, that was hard. Giving my kids my leftovers, that was hard. But working my business was hard too. But I knew if I worked my business hard, I could stop the clocking in at the classroom. So I could choose my hard. We have a lot of decisions in life. You just have to choose what's hard. Life's hard, friends. Choose your hard and which one is worth it. Okay. Let's talk about tracking and measuring real quick. Because you have your goal, you wrote it down in your book, you know that's what you want to focus on and measure on. Are you tracking what you wrote down? If you put down that you want to increase your PRV, are you tracking your PRV daily? If you wrote down that you want to bring in new team members to recruit more people, are you tracking how many recruiting conversations you have? You have got to do these things if you want to get better at it. Because if you don't track it and measure it, you'll lose track of it. You have to track and measure those things. If you don't track it and measure it, it's unlikely you will achieve it. So I want you to go back to the goal you decided at the very first when I started talking. And I want you to write down next to that goal, how are you going to track it and measure it? Write that down. Are you a pretty color person? Do you need a bar chart? I think it's Christina Stainbrook makes the pretty like color in charts. Maybe that's your jam. I'm a spreadsheet girl. Delinda. Delinda's my spreadsheet queen. How many spreadsheets do you track stuff on, friend?
Everything.
Everything. She tracks everything. But there's a reason that she's sitting here at the level that she's sitting at too. It's because she tracks everything. She's figured out what works for her. You have to figure out what works for you. Like I said, PRD, daily check your numbers. Raise your hand if you're checking your numbers daily. Not just looking at them, but writing them down and tracking them. Good. I wish I saw every hand up in here because that is a huge, huge thing you need to be doing in your business. Track your numbers. Here's why. Here's why. Guys, I'm a Weight Watcher winner. And I think the reason Weight Watchers works is because of the accountability. And it's not accountability to everyone in the room at a Weight Watchers meeting. It's the accountability to your little book, and now it's an app. It's that accountability of knowing that number. And there is nothing that gut punches me more every day than when I have to write down the exact same PRV number that it was yesterday. Ooh, that's awful. I didn't sell a single thing today. And when you have little baby gut punches like that, it will kick you in the booty and make you get out there and work a little bit harder. So tracking and measuring is about accountability to you. So daily number checks. Write down all your conversations. If it's incentive time, I encourage you to find some sort of spreadsheet where you can map out a plan and constantly check it. Because when you track and measure it often, it's easier to overcome setbacks. On those days that I'm like, oh, I didn't sell a single thing. I could easily, if I didn't look at those numbers, I could easily get in a trap of like 3 or 4 days not selling a thing. But if I have to write down that number every single day, I'm like, oh, I wrote down the same number yesterday. I've got to get out there and do something tomorrow. So it's easier for me to overcome that cycle. Guys, this is huge for me right now because there is a big goal in this business that I have never earned before, and that's annual sales award. Been selling for 14 years, I've never earned an annual sales award. And this year I thought, dang it, I'm gonna win that. Not win it, earn it. I'm gonna earn that this year. And I started tracking it. I've never been close to it before. I'm a little bit behind right now, but because I've tracked it, I know exactly what I need to sell every single month till the end of April to earn that award. If I hadn't been tracking it and measuring it, I wouldn't have known where I stood with that. So now I know exactly what I need to do to earn annual sales award. Yeah, but I don't like that. It's not my jam. I'm not a digital girl. That stuff doesn't matter to me. Whatever works for you. Okay, so I want to know who is excited to get started on that goal they wrote down. I was going to say, wait, one of you? Hey, we're going to start this over again. You got to wait for lunch. How many of you have an idea of something new that you want to implement to make things happen? Good, a lot more of you. So here's the big question. How many of you are going to make a new plan for your business? I don't care. So what? So what? And that's the question I want you, not really a question, the thing I want you to say to yourself over and over at any Scentsy training that you go to, today or any of them in the future. At the end of a session, I want you to say to yourself, so what? Because you getting pumped up and excited and having a few giggles here and there, it doesn't matter. It does not matter if you don't implement it into your business. How many of you in your head, you don't have to raise your hand, really. How many of you in your head today said, I'm gonna do that as soon as I find a cute planner? I know some of you said it. How many of you said, you know what, that Artful Agenda thing, that sounds like a fun app. Maybe I'll get this started once I get that app. Somebody said it. I don't want to room this big. Somebody said it. Or how many of you guys, this is going to get everyone. How many of you said to yourself, I'm going to do this as soon as I have 30 free minutes to write down everything that I do? Because you don't have 30 minutes, but you're going to have to make it. If you want to make changes in your business, you have to make changes in your mind and in your priorities. And if you don't make it a priority to make priorities, how many times can I say priorities? You're not going to do the things. So, we are breaking for lunch very soon. Very soon, I promise. So here's one thing I want you to do before you get gabbing to all your friends. I want you to write down 3 things that you can do this weekend. Guys, we're halfway through it. You really only have one more day. What are 3 things that you can do tomorrow before Monday morning to start working towards that goal that you wrote down? 3 things. Because when you do the things one step at a time, you can look out and see the big picture. Thanks so much, guys. I think they have a few more things to touch on. I can't tell you can eat just yet. Is it food time? Girl, my tummy. I got a grumbly in my tummy.
That's what I was about to like, I'm sorry. Like, do you want to skip the next part and go to lunch? I said yes. Okay, thank you. First of all, you're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know anything.
I feel like we're friends. I know.
I was like, her energy, I guess, I was back there bragging on you. I was like, her energy, you're good, no nonsense.
It's the hair. It's all in the hair.
I love you.
Higher the hair, closer to God. That's all.
Hi, in your fan club. Thank you so much. Everyone give her a round of applause.